Hello everyone, I'm Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. We begin with the latest on the wicked weather in the west, and don't underestimate the power of the Santa Ana winds. Take a look. The winds were strong enough to tear apart homes in Southern California. They shut down ski resorts in Colorado. They toppled trucks in Utah. This is what's left behind from a windstorm that nearly knocked people off their feet.
It's insane. It feels like a post-apocalyptic war zone or something.
Southern California was hit hardest. Winds there as strong as a Category 4 hurricane.
I went to bed, it was about midnight, and I was listening to my little radio, and all of a sudden, bam!
Trees took down power lines, knocking out electricity to thousands. It was a similar story in other states, including Utah. Even big rigs couldn't stand up to the winds.
Trucks and trailers my size tipped over on the side of the road, and of course semis tipped over, and motion sickness, lots of motion sickness.
Crews are working to restore power across the region, but in California's hard-hit San Fernando Valley, it may take up to another day. Finally, some good job news to report. Hiring increased last month, bringing the unemployment rate down to 8.6%. Analysts had predicted it would remain steady at 9%. Employers added 120,000 jobs last month. Many of those jobs added were in retail, leisure, and hospitality. The amount of taxes that come out of our paychecks could increase if Congress doesn't act soon. The Senate decided last night not to vote on both Democratic and Republican proposals for a payroll tax cut extension. This year we paid 4.2% in payroll taxes, down from 6.2% last year. That's supposed to end at the end of the month. The president urged lawmakers to take action.
We're going to keep pushing Congress to make this happen. Now's not the time to slam the brakes on the recovery.
160 million Americans could pay more taxes if a decision is not reached. Well, if you drive a Honda, listen to this. Honda's expanding its recall to replace the airbags in more of its cars. The airbag may deploy with too much pressure, injuring the driver. Cars affected include the popular Civic and Accord, made in the early 2000s. Certain Acura models are affected too. Honda will notify customers by mail later this month. More of you are getting behind the wheel of a new set of wheels, and McDonald's is loving it that it can get around one city's law. Ryan Bass gets back to business.
Throw the ball anywhere, Ronald. My new magnetic bat will hit it.
McDonald's is swinging back at a law banning free toys in its kids' meals at its restaurants in San Francisco. The new law went into effect yesterday, banning restaurants from giving toys with kids' meals unless they meet certain nutritional standards. The San Francisco locations will now sell the toys for 10 cents with the purchase of a Happy Meal or Mighty Kids Meal, with the money going to the Ronald McDonald House charity.
Let's all stop and get lunch at McDonald's.
Many of you are hitting the drive-thrus and highways with brand new cars. November U.S. car sales are projected to be the best since 2009's Cash for Clunkers program. Chrysler saw the strongest numbers with sales up 45% compared to a year ago. GM and Ford were also strong. Television sales aren't as strong, however. Nielsen says the number of U.S. homes with a TV will drop between this year and next. Nielsen is expecting just a 1% decline, but it will be the first dip in TV ownership in history, even though people are watching more TV than ever. But more and more are watching their shows on computer from sites like Hulu. For your Back to Business, I'm Ryan Bass.
Well, you may think because your kids are too young to have a credit card or bills, they're safe from identity theft. Think again. As Kurt Casper from our Omaha affiliate KPTM reports, one family's baby apparently has a steady job, even though he still sleeps in a crib.
Out of all the people this could happen, it was just me. Just bad luck.
Luz Guillermo opened her mail one day to find this letter in it. It said she had received earnings from a poultry company, but it wasn't for her. It was for her 11-month-old baby.
My son, which is 11 months. Obviously that could not possibly happen.
He can't even walk and speaks like a baby. Not fit to work the poultry line.
Well, it's practically saying your son's social is being used.
And this is not any unique case. Recent studies shows 10% of identity thefts involve children, 500,000 per year.
One of those would be children, because they can use that for such a long period of time before anyone knows.
And Knapp knows all too well about identity theft. She has been fighting it for more than 6 years.
One child that I do know, an 11-year-old in California, who had her Social Security number stolen before she was even issued it because someone guessed it.
She says identity theft has more reward than risk. Only 1 in 7 crooks ever get prosecuted.
It's actually very, very easy.
This mother only hopes this theft doesn't destroy her baby's future.
I don't want the person to go to jail, but I just hope that, they learn their lesson and they just don't do this to another person. I mean, it's not right for the other one to end up with problems just because of someone's decisions.
Kurt Casper reporting for INN News.
Social Security Administration officials say they will look into the case and see if they can issue a new Social Security number for that child. Well, we now know who kidnapped an American in Pakistan, freedom for a raped woman in Afghanistan, and a new job for William, Kate, and Harry. It's all in our Global News Now. Al-Qaeda has claimed responsibility for the capture of a 70-year-old U.S. citizen in Pakistan. Warren Weinstein was kidnapped back in August from his heavily fortified home in Lahore. This is the first we are hearing of any claims of responsibility. Al-Qaeda's leader released the video and listed 8 demands that he said, if met, would result in the Americans' release. Afghan's president has ordered the release of an Afghan woman imprisoned for adultery after a relative raped her. The woman had been sentenced to 12 years in prison after she reported her cousin's husband had raped her. She became pregnant. She's been raising her daughter in jail and had previously agreed to marry her attacker in order to be released and legitimize her daughter. She won't have to marry him, though, and she's being taken to a safe location. Vice President Joe Biden visited with Turkey's top leaders today. He attended several events. Turkey is a strategic partner with the U.S., especially when it comes to dealing with Iran and Syria. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and Prince Harry have new roles. They're the official ambassadors to the British Olympic and Paralympic teams. Their mission is to promote the importance of the Games and inspire young people to excel in whatever they do. The 3 royals say they are honored to be a part of the Games, and they're looking forward to next summer's Olympics in London. And that's your Global News Now. Well, the national Christmas tree is now shining brightly in Washington. President Obama and his family flipped the switch last night to turn on the lights. The 26-foot-tall Colorado spruce is alive and still growing. It was planted in March after its predecessor was blown down in a storm. Well, you don't need to go for broke when it comes to the holidays.
Holidays are coming up. I'm Erica Rodriguez. In just a few minutes, I'll show you how to save money this year and for next year.
And Britney Spears is back in the news, actually for something good, why she's celebrating. And Coke pops up in the news over a big controversy. Why its new can is at the center of a debate. That's coming up on INN.